We'll settle on our poll question for hour 2. Charles Barkley will join us at the top of the hour. 877-3DP Show. Email address, dp@danpatrick.com. Twitter handle at DP Show. He's part of the show that is prior to our show on Peacock. He is Pro Football Talk Live co-host Mike Florio, also a contributor to Football Night in America. Before we get to Belichick, I had a problem with Sean Payton revealing medical information about Bo Nix. Bo Nix certainly had a problem with it. Your thoughts when you heard Sean Payton talking about previous surgeries with Bo Nix's ankle?
I was surprised that he did, but I'm not surprised when Sean Payton says something that ruffles feathers, whether it's with the Jets or with whoever. Sean Payton tends to say what he says, and then he'll deal with the fallout later. But with Bo Nix, it definitely seemed to be an issue. Bo Nix apparently called his own press conference to address the situation. And I did think it was funny when Payton said he had surgery here, whatever. And Bo Nix says he doesn't know anything about the surgeries he had. It's like, Bo, he knows everything about every surgery you've ever had because he scouted you and drafted you, and everybody gets all that information. So they know. But it does seem to be a little something going on between Payton and Bo Nix. And fortunately, they have some time to smooth things over before they get back to work.
Go to neutral corners. The Hall of Fame feels the need to issue a press release. Why?
Well, I don't know, Dan, and it's funny. I was on radio in Seattle when the press release came out, and they said to me, "Oh, we've just gotten a statement from the Hall of Fame," and I thought it was a bit like, okay, and then I said, "No, it's real." I thought, "Oh my God, they're putting Belichick in. Like, why would you issue a statement?" And then when I saw the statement, like, what is this about? They're threatening to strip the voting privileges from 50 people who don't get paid, who spend hours every year. It's a vanity license plate. I mean, it really is. Nobody's getting a job because they're a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. Nobody is holding on to their job because, oh, I'm a Hall of Fame voter. It's just something you can, talk to your friends and family about. And hey, I'm a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter, and you don't get anything for it other than a hassle. And now they're threatening to take it away because of some vague failure to comply with the bylaws. And I just posted something a little while ago, Dan. The best I can tell is they're not pleased with what Armando Salguero said to you yesterday about what went on in the room, because I got the bylaws. I found them, had somebody send them to me. There's a specific clause in there that says you have to maintain strict confidence about anything that is said in the meeting. So you're not allowed to talk about it. But this process has put people in a difficult position where fans, media, those of us who weren't in the room, we want to know what the hell happened to lead to this result. So I thought the whole thing was a mistake by the Hall of Fame. It doesn't surprise me because the Hall of Fame created this mess that now the 50 voters have to deal with.
Okay, but how do they change this? As one of the voters told me on Wednesday morning, we know the system is flawed. We have to change it. What are they going to change it to?
Dan, here's the easiest fix. They just need to go back to an up or down vote for the finalists. That's how it used to be. And Vahe Gregorian, who posted at the Kansas City Star website his reasoning for not voting for Belichick, he said...
Wait a minute, hold on, Mike. Go back to, it's just a thumbs up or thumbs down? There no vote?
It used to be, well, no, I mean, you voted secretly, but it used to be when you had your pool of finalists, they would go through each one. Once we got down to the actual finalists, whatever it was, 5, 8, however many, it would be up or down. We vote yes or no. And if you got 80% of the vote, currently with 50 voters, you get 40, you're in. So Vahe Gregorian, who didn't vote for Belichick, wrote in his column, if it was just a straight yes or no for Bill Belichick, yes, I'm voting for Bill Belichick. He should be in. But they've created this weird thing, and I'll try to be as concise as possible to the extent that I even understand it. They have 5 people jammed into the same bucket. And for this year, it was Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick, L.C. Greenwood, Ken Anderson, and Roger Craig. 3 from the seniors committee, contributor nominee Kraft, coaching nominee Belichick. 5 of them. You pick 3. You don't do up or down for each one. every voter picks 3. And Gregorian's explanation is, well, for these 3 senior committees, this is their only shot. These guys, Greenwood, Anderson, and Craig, this is it for them. If they don't get in now, they're never getting in. So he voted for them because his thinking is Belichick's going to get in next year. So that process that has changed what used to be yes or no, up or down, that makes it harder for the finalists to get in. And it's why we saw a smaller class last year. Of whoever was in that bucket last year, Sterling Sharp was the only one who got in. They all should have a straight up or down vote. It shouldn't be this weird pick 3 out of 5, and then we'll see who gets 80%.
Yeah, because if you get to the point where the contributor and the coach are getting in, and then you have 3 players that survive to get to this point. And as the voters said, you know, you got 5 candidates that are worthy, and now we got to pick 3 out of the 5, and they have to get 80%. It's just a flawed system. Why not put all 5 in if you got 1 from that category, 1 from that category, and 3 former players?
Here's my theory, Dan. I think that the Hall of Fame was sensitive to criticism from people like Deion Sanders that too many people are getting in. But raising the bar, when you've already had a bar here, it's not fair to the next class of candidates to say, we're raising the bar higher. Even though we've put all these other people in under a different standard, we're now raising the bar higher. The only solution to Deion's concern, and we've been advocating this for 3 years now, create an upper room of the Hall of Fame, the best of the best. We have a running list that we post every year at the time the Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony happens, updated, whether or not there's any new ones this year, that are the no-brainer mic drop, these guys are in. And the sad part about this is Belichick would be on that list. He's a no-brainer mic drop, best of the best, and he couldn't get through the door the first time around. That's what I think makes this so frustrating to most people.
But if you were going to pinpoint the biggest reason why Belichick is not going into the Hall of Fame this year, it's what?
Well, people don't like him. I think that's it. People don't like him. He's a jerk. Is that a surprise? But I think we need to be able to compartmentalize. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time, and the fact that he is a jerk, objectively speaking or subjectively speaking, my opinion, he's a jerk. Others have that opinion. That's part of what made him great. He'd rip into Tom Brady in front of the meeting room and scare the hell out of everybody, and they'd all, we better do our jobs, or we're not going to have jobs. So he's clearly one of the greatest coaches of all time, and I think it's easy to find reasons. If you don't like someone, if you're looking for a reason, it's Spygate. He needs to sit out a year because of Spygate, or whatever else they want to throw. Look at his record without Tom Brady. Look at his record with Tom Brady. Tom Brady made Bill Belichick. Like, you can come up with any reason, and people just subjectively don't like certain people, and I think that when you have a unreasonably secret process where no one's allowed, it's like a papal conclave. I mean, come on, why isn't it transparent? When you take away transparency, people can hide behind all sorts of things, and then and you don't even have to vote no. That's one of the other problems with this process. I didn't vote against Bill Belichick. I just didn't vote for him. I never said no to Bill Belichick. So I think, and I'll defer to Armando, because he presented him and he told you yesterday Spygate seemed to be the reason. But I think it was just at least 11 of the 50 didn't like him, and so they sunk their teeth into anything they could to justify it.
Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk Live co-host. What does this mean for Tom Brady when he becomes eligible?
I don't think it means anything. Tom Brady should be a mic drop, no-brainer, first ballot, upper room Hall of Famer. And he's in a different category. See, he'll be in the modern era player category that ultimately gets down to 15 when they start the meeting. And then they cut it to 10, and then they cut it to 7. And I think you vote for 5 of the 7. Just same idea as the other thing we talked about, and you have to get 80% on the 5 of the 7. And I don't know, is somebody going to say, Brady's definitely going to get in, I'll vote for somebody else instead. So they need to get back to up or down. And if it's a straight up or down vote, who would vote no to Tom Brady? Deflategate was a small blip on the radar screen, and I think it was overblown. I think the evidence should have been deemed to be inconclusive. And I think the whole idea of treating this objective, weird, it's always been in the rule book range of air pressure. Who the hell cares? We want him to be able to throw the football. Who cares how much air is in the damn football? So I think that shouldn't matter. And I also think that Brady will benefit from this controversy. They'll be even more careful when Brady's up to not step in this pile of crap again.
I brought this up. I brought it up a couple of times. Now, I know Brady lied to the commissioner. That's why he got in trouble. Aaron Rodgers told me that he overinflated footballs. Nobody labeled him a cheater.
No. Dan, this number's just pulled out of thin air. It's the number. It's the recommended inflation from Wilson, 12.5 to 13.5. I remember when this first happened, my wife was saying, well, what's going on with these footballs? It's like, well, Patriots are in trouble because they supposedly took air out of the footballs. Well, why'd they do that? Well, because it makes it easier to hold the football. Well, what does that do? Well, it makes it easier to throw the football. Well, isn't that what they want? Like don't we want? The whole thing is just bizarre. And it was, and it's been reported over and over again. We didn't hit them hard enough for Spygate, and there was a cabal of owners and others in the league that wanted another pound of flesh out of the New England Patriots. And the weird part about it is that one didn't stick to Belichick at all. He managed to push that whole thing over to Brady. So the only thing they really have on Belichick is Spygate from 19 years ago. And if you throw away 2007 and prior, everything since then is still more than enough for him to walk into the Hall of Fame on the first try.
And I don't know if Robert Kraft is getting in. I'm still amazed that he's not in. When you look at his resume, why has he been held outside the pearly gates?
Well, if Jerry Jones is in, Robert Kraft is in. It's that simple. Now, Robert Kraft is trying to get in under this new flawed process, and I won't be surprised if he didn't get in. I know there are some out there thinking that Robert Kraft has this grand conspiracy where he's going to keep Belichick out and he's going to get himself in. I think it's going to be hard for any of those five to get in. It may just be one at the end of the day of the five, like last year, that get to 80%. But the problem with the Hall of Fame is there are too many worthy candidates, and the process entails, it's not apples to apples. I mean, it's apples to oranges, to car batteries, to, it's impossible to compare all the different positions, all the different contributions, and it's all funneled into this log jam that's almost impossible to bust out of. So it's a very imperfect process, as highlighted by everything we've seen and heard the past 2 days.
Eli Manning reportedly will have to wait another year. Your thoughts?
Well, that doesn't surprise me because of the current process and because beyond those 2 years, when they went to the Super Bowl and won it, and look, he had two of the biggest moments in Super Bowl history, two of the greatest throws. The throw to Mario Manningham in Super Bowl 46 is not nearly as remembered as it should be. That saved the game for the Giants that day. And obviously we know about the Tyree throw, but when you look at the balance of his career, you look at his numbers, all the stuff that people get rightfully caught up in when it's time to compare careers, was he truly one of the best of his era that deserve it? I mean, there's a lot of great quarterbacks from his era. So it doesn't surprise me it's taken him a couple of tries. Will he get in one of these days? I think so. I think he should be there. Jim Plunkett's the only starting quarterback with 2 Super Bowl wins who hasn't made it. Phil Simms has 2 Super Bowl wins, but obviously he didn't play in Super Bowl 25. Roethlisberger's got 2. He'll presumably get in. But yeah, I think Eli should be in, but it doesn't surprise me it's going to take a little while for him to get there.
Phillip Rivers get bumped back another year because he came out of retirement?
No, Dan, the moment that he landed on the active roster for the Indianapolis Colts, his 5-year clock reset. He's got to wait 5 years for consideration.
He could have 5 more kids by then.
Well, maybe head coach of an NFL team by then, too. I guess that could help his candidacy. But, I think Phillip Rivers was a great quarterback, and it was a great story this year. But
Mike Tomlin he can be eligible next year for the Hall of Fame, correct?
Right.
Wow. So coaches, 1 year.
Coaches now have to be out 1 year. And the problem is there's already a logjam of coaches. Mike Holmgren should be in. Mike Shanahan should be in. Now Mike Tomlin's going to be in the mix. And there's a separate committee that serves up one candidate. One. So who's it going to be next year? Is it going to be Tomlin? Is it going to be Belichick? Are they going to decide, well, you know what, if they're not going to put Belichick in, maybe we don't put him up there? I think given the blowback and the reaction, I think Belichick sails in next year. I think it's a no-brainer. The only question, Dan, ponder this. Michael Hawley made this point yesterday. Will he show up at the ceremony when he gets in? Or will he do what Terrell Owens did and do his own thing on that day that he joins the rest of the immortals in Canton?
Maybe he sends his girlfriend.
I wouldn't put it past him.
She might give a better speech than him.
Well, she'll definitely be the one who presents him. That I'd put my money on that if and when he gets in and when he gets in. But wow. I could see him being mad enough about this that he wouldn't show up. I still think he has a sufficient appreciation of NFL and football history that he would not refuse to show up. But I think he'd at least think about it.
Thank you, Mike, as always. We appreciate it. We'll see you in San Francisco.
Thanks, Dan. Good talking to you, buddy.
Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk Live co-host and contributor to Football Night in America. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Does Belichick say, hey, I'm not showing up. I'll hold my own sort of celebratory day, give a speech to the people that really matter most to me? I'd send my girlfriend. She'll bring a flamethrower. That'd be awesome.